I'm Gary Bankhead. I'm a current postgraduate student in the Department of Archaeology in Durham University. Very fortunate is based here in this beautiful medieval city, which happens to be my backyard, the place where I live and I work. My research is focused on some small finds, some small typically metal finds that I've actually recovered from the River Wear here, very close to Albert Bridge. The objects I'm currently researching are lead cloth seals. They're just a very small part of a much wider assemblage of some over 3,500 small finds, which are very closely linked to the bridge. The lead seals themselves appear to come from the Dyers. These are guild-appointed men who were based here in the tenements at Elvet, who effectively brought their cloth, fresh, newly dyed cloth, to be rinsed in the river, and the seals themselves have been lost through that process. Various statutes from the time of Edward III required that these cloth seals were attached to newly finished cloth, and effectively nobody in England could sell cloth unless an alnage official had inspected it. Typically they would claim a subsidy on the cloth of a few pence, and that tax went to the crown. Here in Durham it was different. The subsidy went to the Bishop of Durham. But these flimsily attached cloth seals seemingly have simply fallen off the cloth during the vigorous rinsing action of the dyers that were based here in the tenements in the borough of New Elvet. There's over 270 of them so far, and they constitute the largest assemblage of such finds outside of London that is available for analysis. So it's really, it is a national importance. There's very close parallels with the cloth seals that are being found at other watery sites. For example, the cloth seals found in the River Thames foreshore, and also the Salisbury drainage collection. They represent a period of time of approximately 500 years where here in Durham it appears that cloth has been imported from all over, not just England but all over Europe, to this location, and the main consumer appears to be the bursar of Durham, the monastery of Durham, who procured cloth for many different reasons, but it appears that the high status cloth has come from typically the Low Countries. The weavers who were based here in Durham did produce cloth, and we do know who them were. However, it's the high status cloth that seems to be the norm, that this is the material that's been, the textiles that are being imported into Durham. The objects themselves have been recovered effectively by using subaqueous diving equipment in the river, which is, as you can see behind me, over a period of the last 5 years. Gone back to this site and meticulously gone through the stratified layers, and right at the very bottom you find these small metal objects. I often describe the River Wear as the conditions in the water as being grim. It's very inhospitable, unbelievably cold, and it's a very dangerous environment to be in. Actually, the cold alone is enough to kill you. In my profession, I have been trained in water rescue, so I understand the hydrology of the water. It is a dangerous place to know, but if you do it safely, you have the experience and the qualifications, then it is rewarding. On a good day, if the sun's shining, you can see as far as you can reach. A little bit further, perhaps about 2 meters is as far as, and honestly, you only need to see as far as you can reach. And so far, I've recovered an assemblage of over 3,500. The assemblage itself has been described as of national, regional importance. It's one of the largest assemblages of small finds in the north of England. The objects themselves, as soon as they come out of the water, they are taken to the Department of Archaeology, where they are effectively conserved. We have to ensure that there's no further deterioration in the condition. They're then catalogued and recorded that way. What I really need to do is work very closely with the Department of Archaeology and continue the research that's been ongoing. Ultimately we're going to produce a catalogue of the small finds that come out of the river, and that'll run alongside, for example, the Salisbury drainage collection. effectively it'll bring together lots of different researchers, and we'll be able to pull together a catalogue that captures and describes all of these small finds. The local interest has been phenomenal. I've delivered approximately 50 talks to local history societies, local even metal detectors groups as well. All really positive feedback. Everybody is fascinated by the story. They're really interested, and I guess what I try to do is provoke questions about stewardship and the protection of our heritage. Ultimately, what do we want to happen to these small objects? Where should they go? And very fortunately, I've been able to link up with the Durham University Museum of Archaeology on Palace Green, and donated many of the objects which are currently on display up there. So it's all about the preservation of our local historic environment and these small finds. In the summer of 2014, some students, MA in Conservation Museum Studies students, put together a wonderful exhibition at Palace Green. It was called Diving into Durham. They even put together a website, and that was really well received. We had a launch and opened it, and all the way through the summer, hundreds and hundreds of visitors came to see what was a wonderful exhibition. It was really well received. My favourite object just happens to be a very small lead tin, late 14th, early 15th century pendant, almost certainly associated with the pilgrimage to the shrine of St. Cuthbert. So it's a wonderful little pendant that would have been worn by a pilgrim visiting the shrine just a few hundred metres away.